A dog has crossed the channel with its migrant owner and is now being cared for at taxpayers' expense, while its migrant owner stays in a publicly funded asylum hotel. The Sun reckons the dog is staying at this spot in Deal, Kent, where costs of care can amount to thousands. A source said Border Force were considering putting it to work, fast-tracking its status much quicker than the humans who crossed the channel, Esther McVeigh said.
Brace yourselves. Barking mad. Big exclusive from The Sun. Now we give bed and board to an asylum-seeking dog. Yes, you heard that right. Taxpayers are to fork out thousands of pounds to put up a dog that crossed the channel in a packed dinghy. The German Shepherd made the perilous trip with its illegal immigrant owner, and the fiasco is believed to be the first time a canine has been picked up in this way. It was taken ashore at Dover and sent to quarantine, where it will stay for at least 4 months, while its owner is believed to be in a migrant hotel. It's going to cost taxpayers thousands and thousands of pounds. He came over, Esther McVeigh, last week among 1,183 human arrivals. I mean, what, 1,100, nearly 1,200 humans?
Do you know what I liked in here, though? Discussions were underway about adopting the hound, whose breed is easily trained into an official Border Force dog. So we'll get the dog working before anybody else.
Might do a better job than the French.
We've got a job for him. He's going to be working.
Tell you what, he'll do a better job than the current Home Secretary, that's for sure.
So I did like that. I did see there was salvation there for this.
Do you remember Penn Farthing, who was the guy who got a load of animals out of Afghanistan? Yeah, and he was feted as a hero. Let's relitigate that. Like, every single human who didn't get out of Afghanistan at the expense of an animal, I think absolutely not. You know,
I don't think that was ever materialised as being true, though, that the saving those animals was at the expense of humans.
But surely the effort and surely the transportation in terms of getting people out, that there must have been an opportunity cost there. And I just think when you're looking at getting dogs and cats out of anywhere, enough's enough.
What's an illegal boat migrant doing with a pet anyway? I mean, I thought they're...
Well, I agree with that.
I thought they're living destitution.
It's just so bonkers, isn't it, really? I think this headline really just shows where we're at as a country when it comes to our borders being totally porous, that we are now talking about spending thousands of taxpayer pounds on a dog that's come over on a boat that shouldn't have been here with a man that shouldn't be here.
What it shows is people are too obsessed with dogs, that's what it shows.
Well, I
Get over it.
We're just a complete nonsense banana republic country level. We are.
It just shows we shouldn't be giving priority to German shepherds.
Have you got any pets, Esther?
Don't discriminate.
No.
No pets? OK, let's look...
Now that dogs are seemingly eligible for asylum, the costs of the system could ratchet up further. Hotel accommodation alone is now costing us £3 billion a year, with migrant arrivals now at a record level, and a further 12,000 having arrived since Labour took office. Last year, the Home Office spent more than £5 billion on asylum seekers. The true expense, once schooling and the NHS is factored in, will be much vaster. To put this number into perspective, just 3 years of what we're spending on asylum could fix every potholed road in England and Wales. On direct costs like hotels, migrant spending rose 16% in just 1 year. Some of the budget for migrants comes from the aid budget, and its spend increased 942% in just 6 years. The asylum overspend in the 3 years from 2021 to 24 was £7.6 billion, according to the IFS. Rachel Reeves billed out-of-control asylum spending as a key part of the UK's now infamous £22 billion black hole. So the government decided to move asylum seekers out of hotels. Contracting firm Serco has been looking for private houses to rent for its 30,000 migrants across 7,000 properties. It's offering landlords 5 years of guaranteed rent. The government estimates it costs £34 a night on average to house each migrant in private homes, whereas hotels are costing the taxpayer £145 per migrant per night. John Mappin said one company was offering a landlord he knew 25% higher than market rent, which would ultimately be subsidised by the taxpayer, to house migrants, suggesting the landlords kick out British families to do so.
I'm shocked by the whole thing, and I just wonder when we're going to start calling this and using the language and to describe what it really is. This is an invasion, and we do have the resources to handle an invasion like this. What I want to know is, when are we going to have sane enough people in government to make the sane decisions that need to be taken to protect our communities? I had a note last night from a Swiss investor, funnily enough, who'd received a communication from a friend to say that one company in England was now offering a 25% increase to rent properties for the illegal migrants coming in. And they were suggesting to evict the existing families in these properties that are currently renting them. I mean, is this government completely and utterly, has it absolutely lost leave of its senses? What is this going to do to the rental market for young people? What is this going to do to rental prices? What is this going to do to families who've been trying to save up for a new home? To me, it is almost as if the Parliament is filled with a bunch of lunatics. When is sanity going to be restored? I'm shocked by it, Nana, to be absolutely honest with you.
The problem with it is that alongside the Renters Reform Bill, so landlords are really having a hard time in the UK. So the Renters Reform Bill, when it becomes an act, it means that if you're a landlord, your tenant who's in your property now you can only sell you can only evict them if you are selling. So they've got rid of the no-fault eviction, Section 21, which therefore means that landlords will be looking at that thinking, well, why would I want to keep the current tenants in if I can get loads more money with a Home Office contract through Serco, because that's one of the companies that is currently looking after some of these migrant accommodation ideas. And they're going to pay more, and you get a 5-year set contract, and then the property will be returned in good order after that. So for 5 years, you can wash your hands of your property on a nice high rate, sit back and not worry about whether you're going to have to evict your current tenants or whether they're going to stay in the property. So the whole thing it creates a kind of vortex of landlords who are going to go, OK, well, I'm going to take this contract with the Home Office. And there we have it.
Well, you're absolutely right, Nana. And this is, as I say, what this Swiss friend of mine pointed out to me. He said for any investment group, this is a no-brainer because, of course, The other thing that apparently is part of the contract is that any damages to these properties will be fully repaired and paid for by the government. But, of course, it's not the government's money. It's ours. Your money, Nana. It's my money. And to be absolutely honest with you, I do not want to pay tax to repair other people's rental properties.
Migrants in Calais will keep coming, they told Patrick Christie's, because life here continues to be better than what they're being offered in France.
Better than French here.
Yep.
Sometimes in French here you cannot get a job very fast.
Okay.
You foreign. That's why all people from Africa, black people, they're interested in England.
Just England? They just want England?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know a lot of people who are there already?
Yeah, I know a lot of them.
Okay. And is it easy to get there? Because you have to get in the boat. Does it not cost a lot of money to get to England?
Yeah, it can cost a lot of money. It can cost a lot of money. You reach 1,500 euro. Some people who knows to cross this place now, they can help you to go. Yeah.
And what is life like here? Do you live in tents here? Where do you live when you're here?
Tents.
Tents.
Yes.
How is that? Difficult?
Yeah, difficult, yeah.
And how long have you been in France?
I just come, I didn't spend only 2 months here in France.
2 months. And can I... France, what countries did you come from?
Oh, we crossed a lot of countries when we were coming. From Africa, we crossed like almost 3 countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
But speaking out about the cost and the risk to Brits posed by welcoming migrants can get you into hot water.
Now, a storm has hit a small Berkshire town as Bracknell prepares to welcome 300 Afghan arrivals, with more expected. Now, the local council backed a Lib Dem motion to support Afghan nationals who served alongside British troops. But one councillor's attempt to put locals first sparked outrage. Councillor John Edwards supported the plan in principle, but said that Bracknell residents and UK veterans should get the same support, not less. Now, Councillor Edwards argued that newcomers shouldn't receive better access to housing, healthcare or financial help than locals. But it's fair to say that his comments prompted a complete political storm. I'm delighted to say I'm joined now in the studio by the Town Council at Sandhurst Town Council, Councillor Edwards. Well, you've caused a bit of a furore, and all you were asking for was to put British people on a parity with those coming to your constituency.
Yeah, totally. Not more. No, just not less. So Bracknell Forest Council has welcomed 300 Afghans to Bracknell. I support that in principle because lots of these people have served our armed forces. But we were on a briefing call and we were being told about what kind of support they've been given, and they've been given in a 4-star hotel. All their food catered for, all their bills obviously paid for. They get private delivered healthcare. It's not Bupa, but it's outside the NHS and avoids waiting times. And there's wraparound care and move-on support. And I was listening to this and I thought, this surely isn't the type of support that Bracknell residents are getting, or veterans. So I put out a post to people on the housing waiting list or waiting for support, and I was absolutely inundated with nothing but heartbreaking stories. Single mothers in 1-bed flats with 4 kids, mould so bad it's put their kids in hospital. She says, I feel like I failed. A veteran, he's got 2 young kids in a single-bed flat again, mould so bad, his kids have been put in hospital, respiratory conditions, and he served in Afghanistan. He said, I know what these guys did, I want them to be safe, I want them to help, but he said, where's my help?
And yet, when you put this post out, you reported to the police. Yeah. And this simply went off the rails.
Yeah, and I haven't just been reported to the police by a resident, I've been reported to the police by a Labour councillor at Bracknell Forest for bringing transparency to this. You know, my posts have always been clear, and I want to be clear now. This isn't about, being divisive. These people who have arrived need to be treated with respect and dignity. I was just trying to give transparency because Bracknell Forest were very good at delivering this information sort of whitewashed and making it difficult to actually understand how unfair this scheme was. So I wanted parity for Bracknell residents and veterans, and I wanted transparency. It should have been totally uncontroversial. But I've been reported to the police, I've had complaints put into me, and then, of course, the Lib Dems put in a motion calling for these Afghans to be welcomed to the area, which I said I support, in principle. I support that. But I put in an amendment, which was that I said, but we also recognise that Bracknell residents should have the same level of support, and veterans as well, and they voted that down. And
few would disagree with that. Councillor John Edwards, thank you for joining us tonight on GB News Tonight. And we contacted Sandhurst Town Council for a comment, and they declined to make any comment whatsoever.
Mike Tapp said Labour, however, do accept Brits are concerned, and the government are beginning to treat this as a security issue.
People that have this concern are completely valid. We hear that. We've said from the beginning that we're looking to secure the borders. We wouldn't accept 30,000 a year smashing through the barriers at Heathrow, and therefore we will not accept the small boats issue. It is a security issue, and we've got to treat it like that. And I see that's exactly where we're going as a party. But of course, these things take time. There's diplomatic talks, there's process that needs to go through, and often there's not a running commentary on that.
Nicholas Dunning, GB News.